Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade, and today we're going to be taking a look at a potential inside-out pattern. Now, right now, we're looking at crude oil on the 3JJ bar, and we've pushed underneath the previous high of day now. I would like to see it get a little bit more legs to the downside, but you can see overall the trend is starting to shift to a little bit more sideways and starting to really just sort of turn over. So what we're looking to do is take this in the opposite direction. So really what we want to see here is a little bit more of a push down and giving us a sell entry up here around 94, right now at least 94.89, 94.88, somewhere in there. And we are continuing to get a little bit more of a push down. Now, this is shortly after the crude oil open. We were right at the high of day. As soon as we opened, we actually opened above the previous high of day. So as soon as we opened up, we did see a little bit of responsive buying come in, but immediately sold straight back off again. And that push down is what we're really looking to capitalize on. So what I'm looking for again is just a push below the previous high of day, which we already have down here, and then a retracement back up into the trigger zone, so we can take this right back down to the downside for an inside-out pattern. So right now we can place our entry order. Say 94.88 is good for now. If we keep moving a little bit lower, then I'll just keep adjusting it as we fall. And then hopefully we'll get triggered into the downside and we can take this right back into the previous day's range. So what we'll do is we'll come back after we get triggered into the trade, hopefully, and then we'll see how we end up. So we'll be back in a little bit. All right, so we just got our fill, got filled at 94.86, only running a 5-tick stop. I'm not really willing to get this to move too much against us. I'm not willing to risk that much. This trade does have quite a bit going for it, though. As we fell down, we pushed below both of the BMTs, which is always a really strong reversal sign. But along with that, we've come right back up, broken obviously below the previous high of day, to give us a nice reversal pattern right back down again. Now, this entry is still a little bit more aggressive because the entry is lying above the previous high of day. So there is a possibility that we'll get a cross up and a move higher. And if that does happen, then we'll just look to reverse our position and get right back in long to take this back up to the high of day. But for right now, we're looking at a pretty solid entry. Only took a couple ticks of heat, and then we're moving right back down again. So looking at an overall downside target, a couple ticks ahead of 94.55 or so. We'll go up to 94.58. Once we get to 10 ticks in our favor, which looks like it's going to happen pretty soon here, our stop will move right to break even, so all of our risk essentially goes right off the table, and then it's pretty much just letting it run until it either stops us out at break even or it comes down and hits our target at 94.58. So as it stands right now, from our entry at 94.86 down to our target at 94.58, that's going to be 28 ticks. So really solid trade to the downside if we do get that filled basically all the way down there. We're looking at 5 ticks of risk. You're looking at almost 6 to 1 for our risk reward. So really, really powerful setup that we've got going here. On top of that, we've got a 1-2-3 reversal pattern, which we saw down here into pretty much a golden wave pattern. The BMTs are right inside the trigger zone almost to the downside, along with an inside-out pattern. I mean, there's a lot of things that are setting up here for a really solid trade to the downside. So we've moved 10 ticks in our favor. Remember, we got in at 94.86, so at 76, what we just hit right now moves our stop to break even, and now all the risk is off the table. Now you can just sit back and watch the trade happen. So we're looking at an overall downside target at 94.58, and if we do start getting a couple swings to the downside, if it takes a little bit of time, we can trail our stop down, but preferably we're just going to let it run. So you can also see that we did shift to a negative bias now. So I mean, really everything is pointing to the downside on this trade. So we'll see how we end up, and we'll come back with the results. All right, and we're back, and it looks like we did move all the way down into our target. We almost got stopped out, actually. Remember, our stop was at 86 for a break even, and we came really, really close to a double bottom down here, bounced back high for basically a second chance entry. You could have, if you missed this first entry up here, you could have easily gotten short right back again there for another push straight down. And when we finally cracked below those lows, ran straight into our target. So really, really solid trade from our entry at 94.86 to our target at 58. We pulled out 28 ticks. So $280 on one contract, definitely nothing to shake a stick at. Really good trade. So that's going to be the trade for today. If you have any questions, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Be sure to get back to you as soon as we can. Have a good one. Bye.